live in Facebook, and we are live on YouTube. ¿Qué pasa, chicos? My name is Diego. Welcome to this live session of D-Spot on YouTube Live, and of course, a big welcome as well to all the people that are joining this live stream via Facebook on Barça Blaugranes. Once again, just like last week, we are doing the combo, yes, the combined efforts of D-Spot and Barça Blaugranes. YouTube Live and Facebook Live. We are double fisting, as some people would say. This is the menage a trois, excuse me, let me pronounce that correctly, that we are doing these days. I see Sad joining in through the Barça Blaugranes chat. What is going on, Sad? What's up? Gaurav talking about Titi. I see Cecilia talking about, yay, I'm catching you live. That is awesome to see you finally on the live chat. Cecilia, indeed, finally, it was about time. So, without any further ado, I don't know if you guys are joining us also on the Twitter feed, but in case you haven't noticed, I broadcasted out a question today because instead of talking about the weekend results, instead of going over what we saw over the weekend against this very attractive Barça Celta, attractive for the neutral perspective, for the neutral viewer, of course. However, for us Barça fans, dropping 2 points was a little bit of a hiccup. It was early on in the Saturday, and we had everything to wait and see what our title rivals were going to do. And what did they do? Valencia lost against a 10-man Getafe, surprisingly so. Atletico also tied their match, surprisingly so. Real Madrid also tied their match. Excuse me, that is, of course, incorrect. Atletico was, of the four main title rivals, the only one that managed a win, a convincing one at that. However, Real Madrid, on the other hand, were not able to go further than tying in El Catedral in Bilbao against Athletic, ending up with 10 men. Ramos, of course, being shown the red card there. And Sevilla now tied on points with Real Madrid, sitting in 5th. So what does that mean? Where does that leave us? It leaves us with the following. Barça, of course, luckily for us, still sitting pretty at the top with 36 points. However, and now this is where it gets really interesting. In second place, still is a Valencia side that is, in my opinion, the biggest title contender. Yes, I'm going to go out on a limb and mention this or reiterate this once again, because for me, despite the fact that they did lose over the weekend, they still remain our closest title rival. The positive side of our draw over the weekend against Celta de Vigo was, of course, that we managed to get 1 extra point, meaning that instead of 4 points, we are now 5 points clear of Valencia. However, sitting in 3rd now, the only, as I mentioned earlier, the only team in the top 4 that managed to recortar la distancia, managed to cut the distance with Barça. Instead of 8, they are now 6 points behind us, is Atletico de Madrid. Atletico de Madrid that is showing progress, that is showing that they are able to be still a shadow of the side that they were in past seasons. However, showing that they are now nearing their form that we are used to since the past few years. Griezmann, of course, picking up his goal scoring as well, and connecting with Gameiro. Real Madrid, on our other hand, in 4th, tied with Sevilla. And I'm going to mention them in the both sentence. Why? Because for me, they are tied on points. And right now, in terms of actual gameplay, I don't see a big difference between Real Madrid or Sevilla. If anything, I think Sevilla's on the up, and Real Madrid is kind of staying consistently at this level, ni fu ni fa, where they're not impressing and they're not depressing necessarily neither. What is it that is missing from this Real Madrid side? The goals are not going in for any of the strikers. Ronaldo on 2 goals. Benzema remains on 2 goals. And Bale, of course, again injured, also still only on 2 goals. 6 goals for the 3 strikers up at the top. Of course, way under par for a team the likes of Real Madrid that depends so heavily on their strikers, as any team does, of course. So my question to you guys was, who do you think is the main title rival? You can answer it now in the comment section here. Answer it on YouTube. Answer it through the Facebook feed on Barça Blaugranes. Who do you think it is? And I want to quickly jump over to the Twitter page where we had this question, of course, being posted earlier today. And I want to get the results out to you guys now, live in vivo. Bing! With 62 votes, you guys voted for Real Madrid with 50% being our title rivals. Sevilla not getting any of the votes, interestingly enough. 15% of the votes, that's 15 to Atletico, and the remaining 35% of the votes went to Valencia. One of those was mine, because I think it is Valencia. Of course, I like to stick it a little bit to our title rival, or to our arch rivals, I should say, Real Madrid, but not really counting them. They are way down there, hey, in 4th. So interesting. Let me know your thoughts on that. In the meantime, I'm going to quickly just run over this before I get to your questions. I see you guys blowing up the chat. I will get to your questions in a second. However, in the interest of this debate, I need to mention some of these statistics because they are mind-blowing, if not to say interesting, at least. Why do I mention that? Because when we look at Football Club Barcelona, when we look at our club, and I was looking at who is the person who scores the most goals on each team, who is the person that has the most shots on goal on each team, and who is the person that has the most assists on each team. Now here goes. Listen to this because this is interesting. Coming in, and starting of course at the top, starting with Barça, the person who has scored the most goals for us this season, that will come as no surprise, of course, is nobody else but Leo Messi. Lionel Messi sitting at the top with 13 goals. The Pichichi, of course, as well of La Liga. 13 goals to his name. However, also with 65 shots on goal, also Leo Messi. I don't know the percentage, I didn't calculate that, but convert that into a percentage rate, and that will give you Messi's shot percentage, or goal percentage, I should say, when you're comparing his goal ratio to his shots on goal ratio. However, and this is what I found particularly interesting, the person with the most assists at our club is also Leo Messi with 27. 27 assists so far this season. Now, if you're wondering, in total, what are the total amount of goals that Barça scored this season? Those are 36. 36 goals, of which Messi has scored 13 and facilitated 27. Si hay una persona que dice que no hay Messi independencia, my goodness. If there's a person that says that we do not depend, that there's no Messi dependencia, then of course, evidently that person will be put to shame just based on these statistics alone. Of course, Messi is so crucial to our team. Just imagine if he wasn't there, who would be banging in the goals, or who would be facilitating the goals? That is a big question mark for now. Perhaps one of the reasons why Madrid right now is only sitting in 4th. But we'll get to Madrid in just a second, because next, I should say, I want to talk about Valencia. Valencia side, who in total has to its name 33 goals, so only 3 less than Barça. 33 goals scored so far by Valencia this season. And in number 1 is Zaza. Zaza, their main top scorer, their main goal scorer with 9 to his name. In fact, I see the goal ratio here. A 0.69 goals per game. I can quickly look at Messi as well, 0.93 goals per game. However, in Valencia's case, it is not Zaza, the person who scores them or shoots the most, has the most shots on goal. It is rather Rodrigo, the delantero, the striker, Rodrigo for Valencia with 29. So less than half. Then Leo Messi, of course, had 65 shots on goal so far. Rodrigo for Valencia, only 29. And is it Zaza or Rodrigo also the person who facilitates the most goal, has the most assists? No, it is not. It is, in fact, Parejo. Of course, him having a brilliant season so far. 19 assists, to Parejo's name. Again, a far cry from Messi's 27. Woo! I'm so happy we got Messi on our team. Moving on to Atletico. Atletico de Madrid, so far, 23 goals scored this season. Their main goal scorer is Griezmann. Griezmann, 5 goals so far. Griezmann as well, with the person, the player with the most shots on goal, 25 shots on goal this season. And here comes, for me, again, the surprise, just as Messi was before, because also Griezmann is the person that has the most assists in Atletico de Madrid. 18 assists to his name for Los Colchoneros. So interesting stat there. Everybody saying that Griezmann is a shadow of himself compared to last season, etc. Perhaps that is true. However, it's still so fundamental to this Atletico side, who of course is sitting in 3rd place. Thanks to the likes of Antoine Griezmann. Next, moving on to Real Madrid. Real Madrid, the team that has so far scored 25 goals this season. 25 goals. So let's take away, as I mentioned earlier, the 2 goals that Ronaldo scored, the 2 goals that Bale has scored, and the 2 goals that Benzema scored. That leaves 19 goals. So I subtracted 6. 19 goals. Who is their top goal scorer their season that has scored the majority of those of these 25 goals? It is nobody else but Isco. Yes, guys, the centrocampista, the midfielder Isco is right now this season so far the top goal scorer of Real Madrid with 4. That is a 0.29 goals per game. Who is, however, the person that has had the most shots on goal? Is that also Isco? No, that is not Isco. It is Cristiano Ronaldo with 53 shots on goal. That is 5.3 shots per game, of which he has only managed to convert 2. 2 goals so far for Ronaldo this season. That is an incredible stat, of course. Not one that we are used to seeing of Ronaldo. Will he get his form back? Will he come back? Will the goals start going in? That is a debate for another time. Very interesting stat, I thought. My mind was blown. Isco as well, the person for Real Madrid with the most assists, 24. So nearing the gap there to Messi, who is of course has 27, as I mentioned earlier. And then finally, moving on to Sevilla, tied with Real Madrid for 4th. However, Sevilla so right now in 5th position with 19 goals scored so far this season. It is Ben Yedder, okay, with 3 goals. Ben Yedder is Sevilla's main goal scorer so far this season. That's 0.38 goals per game so far. The person who has the most shots on goal, however, is Luis Muriel with 23 shots. That's 2.3 shots on goal per game for him. The person with the most assists for Sevilla, however, is Franco Vázquez with 13 assists. Interesting stats. I can give you some more, but I see you guys are blowing up the chat, and I don't want to I don't want to leave you guys waiting, so I'm going to move on to the chat, answer you guys' questions, and leave these stats for another time. I hope you guys found it interesting. I wanted to give this a little bit of a different take, seeing as, of course, it's Tuesday. We played on Saturday. A lot of days has passed, and that's really it. I wanted to start the show off a little bit different, and hope you enjoyed. All right, anyway, on to your questions. Gauraf started with Umtiti. The Umtiti, Big Sam factor. We're going to miss him so much, so dearly. My friend Big Sam. Oh, my days. 2 months is what the doctor have said. Take a deep breath, guys. Take a deep breath, because it's going to be a long 2 months, I fear, if Barça is not going to make any moves. Now, the news that I read this morning is that Barça is not, I repeat, not planning on getting in Yerry Mina, is not planning on signing any other defender, neither in the winter market. They are sort of confident that the centrales, that the central defenders that we have right now are going to be tip-top shape and will be able to cover the loss that is Umtiti for now. Vermaelen, let's hope he's got his crystal legs made up with super glue, because we're going to need him now perhaps more than ever. Let's hope that Piqué recoups his form as well, and that like I mentioned, Vermaelen or somebody from the B team perhaps is able to not make us forget about Umtiti, but at least lessen the blow that is the loss of Umtiti. I see Cecilia Murai there talking about big chance for Mascherano. That is true, a big chance for Mascherano. However, on the note of Mascherano, what needs to be mentioned is that Masche is on his way out. He wants to leave. He reportedly wants to leave already as soon as the winter transfer window. He doesn't want to stay anymore at Football Club Barcelona. Whew. So let's see what happens there. What I've heard is that right now the Valverde and the technical team are asking if he can wait till the summer to leave. His initial reply was, no, I really want to leave now. Let's see what happens. Next question, I'm going to take one here from the Barça Blaugranes platform. What's going on? Joby Alex, Barça for Life, Jeff is saying hi. Maria asking about what about winter signings? Good question, of course. I'm sure you guys are all aware of the news of Artur, the Gremio midfielder who's not only heavily linked with Barça. I mean, he was wearing a Barça jersey and taking pictures with Robert Fernandez and other directivos, other Barça directors. So Gremio apparently is going to sue us now and sue us or bring us to court, to the FIFA courts. Let's see what happens there. There hasn't been any official mentions from Barça, so let's see what happens. However, I don't expect that to happen this winter. That will probably be happening over the summer. In terms of the winter signings, all the papers are talking about Coutinho. Now, as you guys, the regular viewers of D-Spot and Barça Blaugranes will know, I have been opposed to a move for Coutinho this winter. The reason being is that because he cannot help us for the Champions League. Obviously, he's already played Champions League football with Liverpool, meaning that he automatically cannot not play Champions League football for us this season. Therefore, for me, that was an X. I said, let's wait for Coutinho for the summer. However, I've had a little more time to think about this, particularly because I see that the papers are so persisting on the Coutinho topic for this winter. Now, what I will say about it is that seeing as Valverde has made it a regular ritual to take out Iniesta in the sometimes even 50-something, 60th, nearing the 70th minute, perhaps it would not be a bad idea to have Iniesta for the Champions League and Coutinho for La Liga. Think about that. Valverde could have an interesting rotation going on between these two star midfielders, have Coutinho in tip-top shape for La Liga matches. Of course, time to adapt. He can rotate between Andres Iniesta and Coutinho there. Free will, that would be absolutely fine. And he could have Iniesta rest a little bit more in La Liga matches and have him absolutely tip-top ready in tip-top shape and ready to play this second half of the Champions League season, which is also important, also demanding, and we need Iniesta in tip-top shape, of course, for this final, el último tramo, for this final period of this Champions League season, and hopefully allow us to compete for this trophy that we long for every year oh so much, of course. So let me know what you guys think of that theory, that one that I've kind of made peace with in the case that Coutinho comes already in the winter. Now, I see here a Real Madrid saying, Diego, no way Messi has 27 assists. He maybe have 5 assists. Please check again. Real Madrid, I'm going to check again for you, my friend. Assists right now, and I invite you to look up the stat yourself. 1.9 assists per game. 27 assists so far this season, my friend. My stats are spot on, mate. What? it is serious. He is that good. Cecilia, with Diego Costa return, we are going to see, of course, a very different Atletico side. I'm very curious to see how Diego Costa is going to fit in this Atletico team. I'm skeptical just because of what I've seen from Diego Costa so far. This season, of course, at Chelsea. Now, he didn't fit there. He wasn't happy there. He wanted to leave. He did everything possible to do so. However, I hope that he's been, if you're an Atletico fan, you hope, of course, that he's been taking his practices serious, and then he will come in the best shape possible to really hit the ground running, because Atletico has no time to spend whatsoever to kind of wonder how he's going to fit. You want him to slot in right away. And the same goes for Vitola, of course. Gaurav saying, how pity of La Liga not having the goal technology with which every freaking league has. We'll see what happens there. There's some politics behind the scenes issues there between Tebas not wanting to support the Ojo de not wanting to support VAR, which is basically part of Blatter's gang, their strategy to be implemented. He didn't want to back that. Anyway, I'm not going to go into this topic too much because I'm not sure of all the details as well. But as far as I'm concerned, as of next season, I think the Ojo de Halcón will be implemented. So why it is not yet today, that is, of course, a very good question. Ala Madrid also asking, Diego, are you doing the podcast today? Unfortunately, I'm not going to have time for that as I'm doing this double pod already. Cecilia asking, the footballing gods rewarded us for 2 corruptions against us over 2 matches. I wouldn't, I'm not a favor of calling this corruption. I call it inefficiencies, referee inefficiencies. I don't think that anybody's out there to hurt Barça. I don't buy into that theory because sometimes they go against us, sometimes they go with us. As Valverde himself mentioned, like the game against Malaga, the ball was clearly over the line and we scored a goal off of that. So sometimes they go with you, sometimes they don't. Es la vida, chicos. As Omer saying, hi Diego, I missed a part of this live stream. Omer, that's a very long question. Also, how much time does Deulofeu need for Neymar's exit? Wow, a lot of content in your question there, Omer. I'm going to stick to one part. How much more time does Gerard Deulofeu need? I'm not exactly sure. All I know is that he impressed me initially, or I should say he kind of disappointed me initially, then went on to impress me, and then recently now he's been disappointing me again. I talked about it at length in last episode. I feel bad for Deulofeu. I feel bad because I fear that this is potentially the last chance that he will be given. I also believe that Denis Suarez should be chosen ahead of him. And I say that with a heavy heart because I wish the boy the best, of course. Sad is saying, hate stats but willing to listen to D talk about them. The stats are stats, my friend. You cannot argue with those. And I found them very interesting. Official niche saying, Johnny Carlos, that is. Man, Johnny, I told you, man, you have a lot of fans on the D-Spot channel. You need to create your own YouTube channel. You have so many fans. Nov Yot saying, also, as a Catalan, where do you stand on the referendum and what impact will it have according to Barcelona? Well, the referendum is right now a thing of the past. What we are looking forward to here is the elections on the 21st of December. Whatever the outcome will be from those elections, I'm happy to discuss about those things at that moment in time. Right now, the referendum talk, however, is water under the bridge as far as I'm concerned. So we'll see what happens with the elections on the 21st of December. A couple more questions and then I'm gonna call it quits. Mascherano is a legend and I will miss him. Sada saying, I agree with you 100%. Noviad is saying, is Coutinho a midfielder though? In my opinion, he can play both on the left, with the front three on the left side where Dembele is playing, or one step back where Iniesta is playing. So yes, I do think that Coutinho would fit in nicely. One Love Soccer saying, Diego, what's your thoughts on Antoine Martial? Does he fit Varda? If you're asking, I'm not entirely sure. If you're asking if he fits in Valverde's system, my answer is no. I know that there was talks of Martial being, perhaps there would be an exchange happening between Rakitic and Antoine or Anthony, and I'm kind of happy that is not happening right now, because I don't really believe that he fits. Not necessarily maybe his playing style, but I think up here, that's really something where I don't think he would fit in a Barça system. I'm not really sure if I want him on my team. I'm happy that he's doing good over there with United. And Johnny Carlos now on the D-Spot channel. What's going on, Johnny? Official niche. The last question I'm going to take, guys. Hey Diego, I know Monaco has an agreement with PSG to sell Mbappe over the summer. Can Mbappe reject the move? I think not, however. I think not. I think that is a done deal. Personally, can Mbappe kind of object a move? I don't know. I don't know the details of that. All I know is that right now he's on loan, and then, as of next season, PSG has to pay whatever it is, the outstanding amount, to make sure that Mbappe becomes a full-fledged PSG player. Whether he or his brother can kind of object that, I don't know. I don't think so. I imagine not. I don't know. Right now, I don't know. Or maybe he can. No lo sé. But anyway, Dave Bell just joined. What's going on, Dave? You're staying quiet, my friend. Johnny Carlos saying, Martial from United, he fits Barça brilliantly, though. Like I said, playing style maybe, attitude-wise, I think leaves a lot to ask for. No worries, official news. Turan is going, and Hadi Yogo saying, hi from Malaysia. How are you doing? I'm doing very good, guys. Thank you for joining the chat. Nitiga Turan, yes, it looks like he will be packing his bags as of this winter. That is what the news is saying. Nitiga as well saying, what about Dennis, Coutinho and Iniesta? Man, that sounds like a midfield to die for. Absolutely. All right, guys. Cecilia, thank you for joining in. I'm happy you were able to join this live chat. Thank you for your questions. All you guys, keep rocking. You guys too have a great day, have a great week, and we will speak to each other as soon as possible. Of course, for those of you that don't know, the reason why my time is limited these days is, of course, because I managed to get a job at La Liga TV, guys. I'm narrating the pregame, the postgame, and the halftime shows at La Liga TV, and potentially something more in the very near future. More news on that soon. So my weekends are fully booked. I work 10, 11, 12 hours, and I just cannot do these spots or Barça Blaugranes right when the game's finished. So thank you guys for staying patient. Thank you guys for staying loyal. Thank you guys for continuing to share and subscribe these videos. Thank you for your congratulations. And we'll speak soon. Speak to you guys next time, okay? Have a beautiful week. Visca el Barça. Y hasta pronto, chicos. Chao. This is not finishing.